Cheers, everyone. Happy World Whiskey Day weekend. I am here to try some peated Irish whiskey with one of the best whiskey tubers out there. Let me know what you guys are all drinking tonight. I'm going to say hi to a few people. Cheers, Five Fingers. You are quickly in here tonight, as always. I appreciate you being here. There he is backstage. Bourbon Neophyte. Anthony was here early. Cheers, Gandy Road. It's good to see you. Cheers, Mr. Great Shot. Ooh, having a pour of Green Spot in anticipation for this stream. Green Spot is one of my favorites, and that's one that I have on my shelf all the time. So that's a good choice. Cheers, Andrew Butler. It's good to see you. Hey, Kathy. It's good to see you here. I've been seeing you in a couple streams this weekend. It's good to see you as always. All right, so I'm going to bring in my guest today. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Double thumbs up.
I'm always ready.
Cheers.
What's up? How is everybody? How are you?
Hey, William Reynolds.
Good.
I'm a little bit dragging today. Yesterday was my husband's birthday.
Oh.
And so we had a little celebration at the house. So I got to drink some nice scotch for World Whiskey Day. He splurged and bought a Glenlivet 21 year.
Ooh,
that was really good.
I can appreciate that. Yes.
That was really good.
I'm sure it was. Oh, Zenbood.
Hey, Zenbood. Zenbood, I would never say no to a splash of Louisville Barton. That's one of my very favorite spots. That one is so good. And James Morgan joining us from London. I think you're in London, right?
James.
So we are drinking peated Irish because I think most people, they associate peat with Scotch, but they don't realize that Irish has a lot of peated whiskey history. Most Irish whiskey was originally peated. And as coal became more readily available and cheaper, they started using coal to heat. And so the peated whiskey kind of fell off the radar and became more synonymous with Scotch. But it's making a big comeback. So if you count whiskey like Two Stacks that has just a 2% peated component in it, so just whiskeys that even have any kind of peat at all. I think at last count, somebody said there are over 80 different brands of peated Irish whiskey now. So it's exploded. Hey, cheers, Slapshot.
Cheers, Brian.
It is good to see you. If you ever get a chance to check out Slapshot's Roadhouse, oh my gosh, the woodworking, that is like ASMR. I could watch that all day. Hey, cheers, Z-Man. Cool running. It's good to see you. I wondered if you were going to make it down to Dublin to Whiskey Live. I've been seeing pictures from Whiskey Live all weekend. It looks like it was a heck of a time. So, are you ready to get started?
I've got my little tidbits in front of me. You just got to tell me which one to crack. Well, so I kind of know.
We're starting closer to home. And I picked this one because the one that the Isla Scotch that I hate and that I know you like is actually what this has been finished in, and that is Laphroaig.
Oh.
So we're starting with Talnua. Single pot still, peated cask. This is an American single pot still. So this is Talnua out of Arvada, Colorado. This is a, let's say 3-4, I think it's 4-year American single pot still. This is 50% malted barley, 50% unmalted barley, and then it's finished 18 months in a Laphroaig cask.
Yeah, breaks my heart to hear Laphroaig. Just does.
I was skeptical. I got it because I get everything in the Talnua lineup. I'm a huge fan, but I was skeptical. And I really like this one. It's subtle.
Thank you,
Mr. Great Shot.
When you say subtle, and you're referring to the peat Because I haven't tried it. I haven't even known it. Okay. So would you say it's along the lines with 2 stacks or like a notch or so above as far as?
Probably right in line with 2
Okay.
stacks. Maybe a little
more.
bit more.
Now I got it though. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's kind of that
subtle.
level. And if anybody knows 2 stacks, then they'll understand the level of peat that's in that one compared to Lefroy, which is off the chart.
It is very approachable. It's a different peat than 2 stacks. It tastes completely different. Cheers, Viking Bourbon. I saw you sneak in here. So have you had any of the offerings from Talnua before?
I have not. This is every one thing you've got in front of me right now is a first. I've never had any of this. We have talked about it, but I have never had any. So all these are firsts for me.
Yeah. So Talnua is in Colorado. They're big on using local ingredients. So they use local barley, local water. The one thing I notice on Talnua is the same thing I get and have gotten on other distilleries in the area of Colorado, is that barrel kind of funky barrel note. I mean, Colorado barley when you try it. And like Stranahan's, like I think it's Copper Sky. I think there was another one that I had that I can't recall the name, but the same thing on this one. I mean, it smells cereal malty, which I love, even though it's a single pot still. It was completely made. One of the things I love about Talnua, and a lot of Irish whiskey drinkers love about Talnua, they follow the Irish technical file for single pot still whiskey. So American, like bourbon has to be 2 years? Talnua does their minimum 3, because that's the Irish whiskey standard.
I wasn't following you just for a second here, but I caught on what you were saying now.
Yeah. For
me, for some reason, the audio got a little, on my end, got a little funny.
Hopefully, my internet's been wonky today. We were watching Ted Lasso upstairs, and it was kept buffering. So hopefully everybody's got me.
Well, they'll let us know if something goes catty.
Yeah, guys, let me know. I've got it. I'm on ultra low. That was the best tip you gave me when I was first starting out.
If you do that, yes. And then if you're feeling a little, squirrely, you can bump it up a bit and see how that goes from time to time. But like I said, I'm directly hooked to copper. So it goes from here right to my modem and then out. I don't use Wi-Fi at all. That's the best way. But anyway, I've got a Glen cap on this. I've poured it. I haven't even nosed it because I just want to sit here and let it do its thing for a minute. But let me see.
There isn't a whole lot of peat on the nose.
I get the malt, and there is a funk to it. And I don't think it's bad.
No, I absolutely love it. But it's just something about the Colorado whiskey. If you put a Colorado whiskey in a lineup, a lot of them I could pick out. That's that very distinctive Colorado note, which I happen to love. But
I get a little citrus, like a wine note, maybe, something along that line. Grape.
I could see that. I think it was a Lefroy 10-year cask, although they don't say. I don't think they're allowed to say.
It's definitely sweet.
Yeah.
Malty. Almost a bread. Almost like a bread note.
Yeah. I almost get a little mint.
I'm not picking that up, but I do get, for some reason, almost like I said, a citrus, a fruit, a wine. I don't know, but I'm going to go now more towards like the note on a Zinfandel, but it's faint. But I definitely do not get essence of peat yet.
No, no. Cheers, Chris. Yeah, Anthony is in demand today. So for those of you who don't know, this is a pregame. Anthony is going to be hosting Livewire Whiskey tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Midnight your time? Midnight
actually, no, it'll be 6 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. your time, because I moved up to their time slot, which normally their time slot is 7 their time, 6 my time. So I'm just coming in at 6 my time and going to go for an hour or two or whatever. And I'm saying right now, I'm not responsible. It's not my fault what happens. I've been saying it all along. So just tune in to find out what's going to happen.
I have a feeling kind of anything goes on their streams. So,
and that's just so they remember that. Although their channel's not the one that'll get booted off of YouTube, it'd be mine. So, but it's all right. It's all right. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready.
Or 11 a.m.
Yeah, if you're in Oz. Yeah, this does smell. It smells very unique.
It is. And I honestly would not have thought to finish an American single pot still in an Islay Scotch cask, but it works.
Okay. Now I was just waiting for that sip.
I've taken a couple, but it's my first drink of the day. So this one is in their core lineup. So anybody in the Denver area, you can pop into the distillery. I think they sell it in a few stores in the surrounding area. Oh, nice, Chris. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Definitely. So the palate of this one, which actually is the one that the cocktail I had when I was there had the ingredient. I get almost like a black tea, like an Earl Grey tea note on here. And the cocktail that they make at Talnua is called Pete the Ram, and they use this peated whiskey, and they use a tea in the cocktail.
Now, it's extremely light. It's extremely light, but it does have a little of that what I call the rye spice on the tongue, which is appealing to me. And I get when I say a wisp of peat on the retrohale, that's where I pick up that little bit of peat. And I almost, if I didn't know, I would almost call it a little, when I say smoke, possible I might mistake it as barrel char, because knowing what I know about Laphroaig, none of that seemed to rear its head.
No, same.
Yeah.
It does not strike me as that medicinal iodine, like I like to call it, an ER biohazard been set on fire.
Yeah, no, so in my mind, that's the first thing I went to see if I can discern any of those notes from that. And the first sip I couldn't, which I anticipated that was kind of the help to get myself ready. The second sip and then the third sip is really when I started to be able to pick out that and then the spice, because my palate is ready for it. Now let's see what we get on the third.
I think what you're calling is a rye spice is actually the American single pot still spice. It's that pot still.
Yeah.
Those spice that are coming through.
Yeah.
Chris Tats, I agree with Mr. Great Shot. John's Lane. If you guys have the Powers Rye yet, that's another good one to get. And if you come across it, a green box of Powers, snap that up. That is the Power signature that they discontinued. There's still some out there. That is absolutely my favorite. That's phenomenal. I wish they still made it, but there's still some floating around out there. And thank you, Zembud.
So on the finish, I get almost like a lemony zest towards the back of the tongue as it works its way forward, along with that spice. Mm-hmm. It's definitely light. It has okay, I'm going to say it, silkiness to it, creaminess to it.
There is a real creaminess to this one.
And it seems to have a little oil to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not like super viscous at all. Not like really viscous, but
No,
I
no, it
get,
doesn't have
I
a
get
huge.
that little bit of a feel on the finish
Mhm.
there for a moment. I don't think the finish is awfully long. I don't think it's short. I would say it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah. And
Um,
the oiliness and that spiciness, I think that's definitely because it's a pot still.
okay.
Talnua they're kind of accredited with being America's first single pot still distillery. That's all they
Mhm.
distill, a single pot still, as far as whiskey goes. And they do some amazing, I mean, I think this one, I have to look it up. I think I only paid like $40 for this bottle. It really wasn't anything crazy at all. Um, and honestly, it's a go-to one if, especially as
Mhm.
the warming up, if I'm going outside, sit
Mhm.
around the campfire, don't want anything really heavy yet. This one is a good one to start the night with.
Well, I will say this. I started off with a little teaser of the Redbreast 12. Just it comes in at 40 ABV just to kind of have that. And I didn't have any whiskey at all today in anticipation of this. And so I
Mhm.
figured I need to start with something just to kind of get my palate warmed up. And I thought that was a good one. And I think this is definitely an approachable one,
Yeah.
particularly if you want to try something peated. But when I say wisp, it is literally that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, in my head, think
Cheers,
of
depending
in
on
the
you.
bourbon or Scotch world, the Scotch world mostly, what this would be likened to. And it's even below Highland Park.
That's what I was just going to ask Highland Park, but I think Highland Park has more.
Yeah, no, I can get Pete on Highland Park,
Mhm.
Bunnahabhain 12. Yeah, it's below that. So if somebody really wants to put a pinky toe in the water, particularly at this ABV of 43,
Yeah.
I think that this would be good because it is there, but you have to search. But for somebody that doesn't know Pete at all, I could see this being your gateway and then stepping it up. I can. I could put that in the lineup for something like that and think that uh, it would definitely be something to recommend.
Well, and additionally, other than the Lefroy, I wanted to give you a chance to try it. You're Vegas. That's not too far from Colorado. So if you're ever in that area, check these guys out. I absolutely love the distillery, and I was skeptical when I found out. I'm like, oh, peated, great, I'll try it. And then I found out it was Lefroy, and I'm like, oh, don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I had a preconceived notion, and
Yeah.
I try to keep an open mind, but I know what Lefroy is, and I know what it can be. So I really was searching for that. And again, I just know better. I shouldn't, but
Mm-hmm.
it's human nature. You're going to lean towards what you know.
Ooh,
That's
Heather
just
knows
the way
beer.
we are.
So our second is going to be one that is from a little further away. Let me make sure I grabbed the right one. Yeah, I did. And we're going to go with the Liberator next.
I'm opening my little taster up right
This
now.
is one of my favorites. I actually have a backup bottle of this one. This is the Liberator Port and Peat. Oh, come on, camera. Sometimes it wants to work and sometimes it doesn't. It's what, $100 on Amazon will get you right there. So the Liberator is a brand made by Wayward Irish Spirits. This is from Ireland. This specific one isn't sold in the US. Some of theirs are in New York. They just started coming over to the US. This one is named because the brand owner and creator, Maurice O'Connell, he is a descendant of Daniel O'Connell, who was the first Irishman in Parliament. He was a big advocate for rights of the Irish. He was by peaceful means, he would just argue, just literally talk him to death. They called him the Liberator. And they also called him that Wayward Irishman, which is how the brand got its name, which is Wayward Irish Spirits. So the one thing, Morris is known for sourcing very, very fresh port casks. So he does his own finds his own casks, and he'll put the whiskey in while the cask's still wet. So you're going to probably get a lot of port on this one. This one has 5% peated malt in it. So they use a 2015 and 2016 malt from Great Northern Distillery. It's 43%. And then 5% peated malt from Cooley. Then they use a 2015 Great Northern grain and a 2010 Cooley grain. They blend that all together and then finish it in the port casks. The malt is finished in tawny port casks and the grain is finished in a ruby port cask. So this is kind of a double port. This one is released at 46% ABV. And these are, you can see these are small little bottles. But everything, these are so good. They do a few in the series, but this is one of my favorite, even though it's on the lighter side, one of my favorite peated whiskeys. Oh, Chris, that's a definite. I will be more prepared this time. Last trip, I think I was winging it. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Todd.
Ooh, wow.
Just about to get home from sleep from the night shift. Well, good rest to you, Chris. I will definitely reach out and find what you guys have had.
Well, this is a nice nose. This is a nice nose.
This is one of my favorite brands. I have several of their bottles.
Definitely get a little. Definitely get the malt and the grain on this. Yeah. Maybe just a hint of the alcohol, ethanol. Just a little hint.
Yeah, they're just doing their own. They just released their own whiskey. It's only 3 years old. So it's still
the next word of mouth is going to say might be a little young.
Well, this one is the malt would be 2015 and 16, and then the grain is 2015 and 2010. So this isn't this is all source. This isn't their own stuff.
Yeah.
Their own stuff, which they grew from their own barley that they planted on their own property and had spent, he spent all this money to make sure that the whiskey was made from just their grain, and that was it. And it's really got a lot of potential. I was lucky enough to get one of the inaugural bottles of it. So James Anthony is going to be hosting Livewire tonight
at 6 p.m. my time, James. So yeah,
9 p.m. Eastern.
Mine is normally right after theirs, which works out to be 9 p.m. my time. But I'm filling in their slot, so I had to start at 6 p.m. my time because their time is 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. So yeah, so let's put it this way. No, I will not be on in my normal time slot, and nor do I plan on being long after that.
We're going to ply him with enough whiskey that he probably will not be awake then.
And depending upon the peat level and everything, I'll just forewarn everybody, I probably will just move to like peated scotch tonight just because of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, we're getting high up a little bit. We're not Isla. Well, yeah, actually one of them is Isla Scotch level. Never mind.
So we'll probably going into some, Ardbeg, some Lafroig, what the heck.
I'm gonna try. I will. For those of you who don't know, so everybody knows we have an Irish Wolfhound. We'd had bulldogs before that. Unfortunately, the last one passed away around Christmas time, and the Wolfhound was just getting really depressed. And so we've talked about it a while and finally just pulled the trigger this past week on a French Bulldog. She is only 9 weeks old though, and it has been a good 10 years since we've had a puppy. Like the Wolfhound, I mean, he was 27 pounds, so he couldn't like sneak off and poo somewhere you wouldn't know about it. This dog, my husband found one this morning, so we're reacclimating ourselves with the joys of having a little 5-pound, 9-week-old puppy and forgetting it's basically like a toddler. And that dog gets into everything.
Todd, you let me know when you want your introduction into peated Scotch.
See, I think
I
Todd would be
will
okay with that
personally
Talua.
guide you into the light.
I think Todd would be okay with that Talua. I was exactly like that. I used to be like that. And then I found a peated Irish that I really loved. So you can still get a little bit of that youth because it's still not that old. I think the malt is 6 years old when this was bottled. But I love the port on this.
It definitely is sweet. On that first initial sip, the sweetness was right there.
Yeah.
The peat is definitely more present than the first.
And it's not a lot.
It is not, but I got it.
But it's a difference between finishing something in a peated cask or peating the malt itself is the difference. And it's amazing, just that 5%. So this, if you like the 2 Stacks cask strength, this isn't a bad one to pick up because this is just a little bit more peat, but it doesn't taste like it's more peated. Oh, James, I'll bring her definitely at some point. She's getting a little bigger. Right now, she screams like a banshee if we step away from her for 5 seconds.
As much as she can, right?
Oh, she sounds like she's being murdered in the next room. Highland Park 12 is very lightly peated. My husband has a bottle of that. He really enjoys it.
It is.
Sugar Kitty.
Sugar Kitty?
Cheers, Sugar Kitty.
Good evening, sir.
Sugar Kitty would approve. We're drinking peated Irish whiskey. Hey, cheers, Adam. Adam, I need to get with you and Jeffrey and find a Sunday you both have free in June. If we don't have anything in June, we'll stretch it to July. But Adam and Jeffrey are going to be doing an Irish whiskey battle. So I'm going to be sending them samples of Irish whiskey, and we're going to battle like Stahl did with Shayla. And it's all going to be stuff they haven't tried. So what do you think of this one?
Well, I'm getting a bitter note towards the finish, but extremely sweet, sweet.
Very sweet.
The ABV is definitely a jump up, even though the last one was 43. The 46 is in my wheelhouse when it comes to a Scotch. I look for 46, non-chill filtered, no color added. That's like my holy grail when it comes to Scotch.
That's this also. They don't do any of that.
And it's a little, how do I say this? It's definitely different than the last.
Yeah.
The last, if I was comparing one to the other, it's night and day.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah, it's night and day difference. And I'm trying to, so people understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to take another little sip here just to.
The first one you got more of, you got the cereal grain, the malty notes. You got the pot still spice. You got the oily, creamy oiliness of a single pot still. And then you still got that kind of underlying hint of the peat. This one, the peat's coming through a little more. I think it's a little ashier. But it's sweeter. You're getting that sweetness kind of hits you right as soon as you try it. I do think there's a little youth on this one that does come through. I like it. I like the sweetness balanced out. I'm a port fan. I love port, and I love the history behind the brand.
Well, so. I do too.
Hey, cheers, Lilith. I am so excited to see you guys when you come back. So after this one, we're going to be bumping up in peat quite a bit.
Mm. Okay, okay. Actually, that's not bad. It's
I
definitely different.
Yeah, I get usually everything I buy from the Liberator brand. I get backups of my bottles, and then end up getting backups of backups, and I go through it pretty quickly. The two offerings that are in their standard core lineup are a tawny port and this double port, but I think it's 43. Yeah, it is 43 or 46%. I think it's 43%. Um, and then they do these special finishes or cast strength offerings of those, that's what this one is. But they just threw this out there, and I know I have, like I said, I have 2 or 3 of them. But so our next one is Kathy Huey, and here earlier, is a fan of the dark silky. We are going to be drinking the midnight silky. No, I'm not going to focus. So this one, I actually had to pull the details on it because this one's more complicated than even I remembered. So this one, there's some of this is done in Imperial Stout cask finish. Some of it is actually, there's a little bit of it that's a red wine finish. There's some of it that's an Oloroso sherry finish. Some of it's a bourbon finish.
Ooh, Oloroso.
And this one is a little bit higher in ABV also. This one is, well, this is the same as last one. This is 46%.
I was going to say mine said 46, but
it's higher in ppm.
Okay.
The ppm level on this one is the highest that the Silky brand has. This one is a little bit more than the Dark Silky. That is probably one of my favorite peated Irish whiskeys. And I think that is what Kathy was drinking earlier. It is single malt triple distilled sherry and virgin oak was 30%. Single malt triple distilled imperial stout was 20%. Single malt triple distilled peated bourbon finish, 55 ppm, was 35%. Single malt triple distilled Oloroso is 5%. Single malt triple distilled red wine is 10%. And then they take that blend and finish in virgin oak and imperial stout cask.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit going on with this one.
Just a tad.
So the Silky brand is from a distillery called Sleeve League, which is in Donegal. And it's on the coast. I find it to be a little more closer to Islay. It's more briny. It's also a little sweet. I do get a lot of caramel on the others. This one is really, really good. I tell you, it was hard to think anything would top my favorite of the Dark Silky, and this one gave it a big run for its money. But it is very sweet. This one, I'm not sure if this one is available in the U.S. I'm wanting to say it might be in New England, but the Dark Silky is available. Flip it everywhere. You'll see it everywhere. And this one is like I said, this is the highest ppm of anything they have available right now. So this one's going to come through more. And cheers, Cornell Whiskey. It is good to see you.
Yes, it is. Cheers.
So let me know what you guys are drinking. If you're drinking anything peated, drinking scotch. I know a couple of you said something. Hey, and there's the man that's going on here at 7 o'clock. It's also celebrating World Whiskey Day. Cheers, Kilco.
Cheers, Brian.
Brian, make sure you drop the link to your stream in chat so everybody can join you after we're done here. We are drinking some peated Irish whiskey, and we are on the Midnight Silky from Sleeve League Distillers.
And you know, it's funny. Before you even mentioned brine, I was getting that heavy malt note from a scotch with that crisp brine, which reminded me of Kilholman.
Yeah.
And I'm
Donegal
talking about
is, yeah.
Scotch. Don't
Donegal's up on the
confuse it.
coast.
Yeah. And so I'm like, wow. And then you said brine. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's not like in your face, like on certain scotches,
No.
but I picked that up on there.
I think it balances the sweetness of these whiskeys from Slave League also, because they tend to be malty and a little sweeter, but I think the brininess kind of balances it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Sugar Kitty with the win. We're done here. Yeah, definitely, guys. Make sure you go and check out Kelco at 7. He is going to be celebrating World Whiskey Day as well. Man, I need to fix the. That's definitely not set in black.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking some peat, baby.
That's some peat.
That's got some peat in there. It's not overpowering, but boom,
No.
it's right
But
there.
compared
And
to
you know
the
what?
first
It was
two,
settled on the nose.
There's no looking for the peat in this one.
No, it's there.
Yeah,
it's there. That's why I said, yeah, there's some nice peat in here. It's not, how do I say this? It's definitely not off-putting.
No. This one's the one you're having a party, runs in the middle of the room, jumps and screams, I'm here.
Yeah, this one will do it. Yeah, it's on the nose and more prevalent after my sip because now I got it. But I got it, a wisp of it, more so than the other two. The first one was pretty much non-existent, and I will say non. The second one, it was a search, and it was faint and fleeting. This one, it was there. It took a little bit of a minute to pick it up. But then once you get it and you take that first sip, go to the nose again, you got it.
This
because
one,
the sip was the the sip was like, hey, this is peat.
This one, the lingering note I get is almost like a salted chocolate from that stout. I get kind of the briny, like we described, with the saltiness, and then it's the chocolate note that lingers for me on the finish, that even more than the peat.
On the retrohale, I will give you the chocolate. And not because you said it, but I don't get it on the initial palate. But as it's developing, and it's getting into the finish, and on the retrohale, and it comes back a little bit. It's there, so I will give you that. And I do like a stout, so I'm searching for the creamy caramel chocolatey type that I get on a stout.
Yeah, I get it. Like it's like the dark chocolate. But you're right. I don't get it on the initial taste. I get it on the finish.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Scott. Cheers.
Cheers, Whiskey Wars. It is good to see you, man. And hey, it's Scott. Cheers, Scott.
This, if I could get my greedy little paws on it, I would put this on my shelf. This, I'm going to say it right out now, people. Find it, buy it.
Yeah.
Find it, buy it.
Yeah, the silkies are good stuff. Well, and so the dark silky, that is the one Kathy was drinking earlier. That bottle
Midnight Silky. Okay.
40. The silkies only go for like 40, 45 bucks. They're so reasonably priced. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
The silkies are all really good. Cocoa.
This is definitely something
the dark and the midnight are the good ones.
With a nice pour. And I can work with this because this to me seems like it's got some room to explore. Yeah, the peat and the brine. The peat and the brine is right in my nose right now. Now that I'm on the third sip, it's like, oh yeah, it's right there. But it's not bad.
No. I said, I get it kind of riding through the finish. It's like a salted dark chocolate.
It on the retro hail,
Yeah.
it's chocolate, like
Hey,
a
John.
caramel peat, but that peat, again, what I say about Scotch, really caresses that sweet chocolate malt nicely, nicely on that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I
it's not
wish it was a
overly
little
sweet.
more viscous.
Mhm.
That's the thing that I would say. I wish it was a little more viscous with some oil
Yeah.
to it, because I think then that would be the icing on the cake, or what I call the butter.
They have a cast strength version of this that you can only get in Ireland.
Why do you have to tell me these things? It's like showing a kid a toy at Christmas and saying, "Yeah, but you can't have
You
this."
can get it. You can get it. You can get it. Okay, you could get it from Ireland. They only have it available there, but you can get it.
Well, thank goodness I
Oh,
know people
Silko,
that
you
know
have the
people.
dark silky. That's my favorite one. That one reminds me of kind of like Ardbeg Light or like Thanksgiving ham.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. All right, I'm gonna grab some more water real quick since we're jumping up in ABV, but you're in charge.
So let me just say this: since you said Ardbeg Wee Beastie, not Wee
Mhm.
Beastie, yeah, the 5 year,
Yeah.
drop the peat level down. Bingo.
Yep.
Drop
I
the
think
peat level
the
down.
dark silky reminds me of a no.
Oh, and I got some in there. So bit or in there behind me. So I might have to pull that out tonight. Mm. Oh my gosh, the Golden Knights pulled it out in overtime. I'll never hear the end of it. I'm not
So
a hockey
the
fan.
thing I love about this the Silky brand, they're reasonably priced. I mean, they're both their bottles, the legendary Silky and the dark Silky that are in the US, they both retail for like it. Well, I'm in a control state, but 40 $42. Even the midnight that I got from Ireland, I think I only paid 50 55 maybe for that. Even the cast strength are only like $80. So they're really, really reasonably priced for the quality that you're getting.
Boo, Nick. Boo.
Hey, cheers, Big Froman.
Hey, B. Bauer.
Hey,
Cheers,
D
bro.
Bummer. It's good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see him.
And Richie Z. Everybody's pouring in here.
Oh
You
my
guys are
gosh, Richie.
just in
Cheers,
time. We're getting
brother.
to the good stuff.
This is really good. I don't know why I'm savoring it. I've got some more here, but I'm just like, I got another little sip here. Let me.
That one you can get, not in the US, but you can get it from Ireland. That's one of their core lineup items that they stock all the time.
Hey,
And
James.
you can get it pretty easily.
This is I've had 2.5 of these filled with water. So yeah, I'm good. Oh, by the way, Sugar Kitty. So that the way you described the Kilhoman Lockyer Bay to me, think of that. Let me just say, not as refined, but the brine and the cleanness to that peat. That's how I'm looking at it. Because on the nose, I got that freshness of that Kilhoman Lockyer Bay, that clean peat with the brine. Bingo. So just so you understand where I'm going, I know you got it. It's not that I call that purity level, but anyway, that's where I'm going with this in my mind. Sorry, just elaborating here because I'm like, wow.
So Sugar Kitty is actually the one that got me into Ardbeg.
Well, good.
I think I can't remember who, it might have been Shayla's stream that we were in. And I was asking about, hey, I found this peated Irish I love. Here are the notes I'm getting. And Sugar Kitty's like, you need to try Ardbeg. And so I picked up, I like sherry. So I ended up picking up the first and love that one. And now I have Bottle Oogie, which I'm freaking obsessed about.
Oh, yeah. Well, he dropped off some samples to me when he came out here once, and he was explaining to me clean peat. What the hell is that? But once you can connect that dot of how he was describing it with the actual dram that he was talking about, that changed. Now I got it. So in my mind, when I tasted that, you know, the reel started to search for, oh my gosh, where was that at? Where did I taste something similar to that, back and forth? And so that's why I said Kilhoman, not Kilwoven, Kilhoman.
Kilhoman.
Yeah, I know you got it, but I want to make sure people were clear on that. And
Me and Alex
oh,
go back and forth with that all the time. Me and Alex Bruyere.
Yeah.
He's like Kilhoman, not Killowen.
That's it. Killowen. But so anyway, you know, the reel started to feed. It started searching. I go, I know this. But anyway, all right. That was actually delicious. I'm ready.
All right. So the next one is another one that is available in the U.S. It's not everywhere yet, but it is in a good handful of U.S. states. And that is W. O'Connell. And this is called a Bill Fill. So a W.D. O'Connell are a whiskey bonder. They source casks and do finishing. This one is from Great Northern. The name Bill Fill is in certain of the towns in Ireland, the family is, you know, some of the family names might be the same. So when they mean a certain family, they do nicknames. So Docky O'Connell's family was referred to as, oh, that's just the Bill Fills. So he named his whiskey after it. This one is from batch 1. We have bottles of all their batches because my husband's a massive fan. And this one is 47.5% ABV. Like I said, these you can get in the US. This one is a big bump up in ABV in ppm. This is 55. This one is all natural color, non-chill filtered. You see how very light it is. It's all bourbon cask finish. There is a Scotch that this reminds me of, so I'm curious to see if you get the same one. This one is a little on the younger side. I think it's 3 to 5 years. And all of these, they all source their peat from Scotland. I don't think there's anybody in Ireland that actually is using Irish peat, to be honest. Not anymore. There is peat in Ireland, but you have to have enough to keep up with production.
And it would probably be more of a one-off thing that they do every so many years, if they even do it. Yeah.
If anybody did it, it was probably Killowen with one of their small batch releases.
Which would fly off the shelves because just of what it is and how limited it would be. And to say you have a bottle and tasted it, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Kilhoman. Okay. Every time I'm on a stream with him, he has to make a point of enunciating that. Kilhoman. Stacy, not Killowen. This one,
my goodness.
Yeah, this one's peated. Is this one lightly peated? No.
No.
This is Isla Scotch level peated. This is up there.
Yeah. Look at this face, Richie. No, it is not light. It almost made my eyes sweat. I was like, ooh.
Anthony was so happy. You saw a little tear running down his cheek.
Well, especially at 59 ABV, it's like, oh my God.
47.5 on this one.
It is?
This is 47.5. Yeah, they do have a cask strength version. That is 58 or 59. But this is still up there.
Okay. Just so you know, mine says Irish single malt CS 59.
Oh, I sent you the cask strength.
You did. So I got something different than what you got in your glass.
Okay. Well,
I told you it brought a tear to my eye. I'm like, holy crap.
Okay. Well, I'm drinking the regular one. Anthony is drinking the cask strength.
So like I said, it made my eyes sweat because I took a big sniff of it. And I'm like, oh, wow.
That one.
Because I was listening to what you said.
Yeah.
Even though I'm reading it on here. I'm like, okay.
And that's the part that was wrapped around the bottle. And when you sent me the picture, let me grab that one. I have that one in my closet. That one, I do know where that one is. So I would be right back, guys.
Yeah. Let me wipe that tear out of my eye because I wasn't expecting it to be almost 60 ABV because it really did get me. I wasn't expecting it. Excuse me.
Okay, I'm really glad I got that extra water now. All right. So, yeah, yours is 59.6% ABV. This is the cast strength. You can see the color.
And I do get malt, peat, and brine.
Yeah, this one I get a little sweeter peat.
Like I said, on that big nosing I took, I about burned out the old factory because I wasn't thinking it was going to be as potent because I was listening
And
to what
we're
you
not at the
said.
highest peat level yet,
Well, I
guys.
know, but
we got a ways to go.
True, but I just was reading it. And I thought, well, she might have marked it wrong.
Nope.
Yeah, well, because I'm listening to you, and I'm like, okay.
And
But
that's the part that was wrapped. When you sent me the picture,
No, I got it.
Because I only recently learned to take a freaking picture of what you send before you send it, because I'm inevitably going to forget. The CS was wrapped around, so I didn't see that. Now, the one that is, I mean, it's still a decent 47.5%. This one is available in the US. The cast strength one that I sent you is not. It is available for order to the US from Irish retailers. He periodically releases the cast strength versions.
Oh yeah, this has a wonderful Scotch-esque brine peat sweet nose.
So Dougie O'Connell, who owns W.D. O'Connell, he's got an amazing palate. He's amazing at sourcing different casks. And he doesn't limit it to Irish whiskey. He does Scotch as well. I actually have a bottle of W.D. O'Connell that is Bruichladdich Lockendall. That is a 10-year Bruichladdich. Yeah.
Yum. That's all I could say. Yeah. Yum.
So my husband thinks this one, because of the sweeter peat, reminds him of Lagavulin. This doesn't remind me of this reminds me of something different. Does this remind you of any Scotch?
It does remind me of Scotch. As I said, there's a Scotch-esque nose to it with the peat, the brine, and the sweet that I'm getting on there.
Nick, I'm so glad you're enjoying that. I love those releases. I got Nick in the Livewire Whiskey Secret Santa. So I sent him one of the Bushmills, the 2022 Causeway releases. So it's cast strength. And that was direct from Ireland.
You know, and I don't know why I'm going to this, but probably because you put Lagavulin in my head earlier. I'm picking up on some notes that was reminiscent of the Offerman edition Lagavulin, the Guinness.
Oh, the Guinness?
Yeah, but
so I'll tell you what this reminds me of and I'm talking about the regular version, but when I pick this up and drink it, the first thing that pops into my head is Port Charlotte.
I didn't even go there because to me, this peat, the peat I'm getting is more in line with like a log 16. It's a heavy peat, but it's more refined, sweet peat.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Mr. Greatshot had alluded to log 16 too. And so I'm like, ooh. But anyway.
Log 16 I could get. I'm not getting those chocolate notes that I get on the Guinness one, but log 16 I could definitely get.
I got that on the first sip. It was just like melted down across my tongue and over the palate. And it was just like this surge of thick, sweet, smoky, chocolatey goodness. It wasn't a deep, rich chocolate, but that's what it triggered in my head. But now I'm going to take the second sip.
I'm getting more. I get like the biscuity, like the shortbread cookie. and apricot, more tropical.
Definitely higher in ABV on the
Yeah.
retro hail.
And I love
Peat,
no
peat,
non-chill filtering, no color added. What you get from them out of the cask is that's what's in the bottle. They don't use any of that stuff.
Let me take a sip of water, have the third sip, and really do a mouthwash with it.
And again, completely different kind of peat than the others that we've tried.
Oh yeah. No, this is peat. This, if you don't like peat, you do not
like
go
it.
here. Do not
If
go
you
here.
don't like Lagavulin, if you don't like Port Charlotte, if you don't like Talisker, you're not going to like
Ardbeg. Do not go here.
This is usually the one that I grab when people say, well, there's no peated whiskey in Ireland. Yeah, Connemara is it. There's no heavy peated whiskey in Ireland. Let's pull up to the bar and let me pour you a drink.
Wow. Did a nice little mouthwash with that, and just
cheers, Doug H. Sipping on my favorite spot.
Sweetness is like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it melts in your mouth, and then that peat comes in around it.
So creamy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so creamy.
I'll give you that. And the retro hail is a nice peat-esque as it comes through the finish, and some nice spice across the tongue. And I'm not getting a lot of youngness on it. Just a little of those tannins, that little bit of that grab is there. But you know what? It washes away.
Yeah, I think the sweetness of the peat kind of balances it out a little bit. I don't find this one. I was actually, when I started looking into it, because it's been a while since we drank it for so long. It's been a while since I looked into it. And I'm like, wow, that's really that young? I never would have remembered that. I think
the peat with the sweet, and also a little higher on the ABV, takes your mind and your palate away from some of the youngness. I mean, you have to look for it, and if you know what it is or how young whiskeys affect you personally, when you get that feeling or you get that taste, this is good. This is really good. This would definitely be Sugar Kitty approved. This would be. I mean, Jeff would like this. I mean, I'm just telling you, this is good. Heck, he may even have this. I don't know. You know, he comes up with stuff sometimes. It's like,
Sugar Kitty, let me know if you've ever come across a bottle of Billfill.
I mean, wow.
Like I said, I really love this. My husband is actually the one that fell in love with this brand. He fell in love with that bottle.
Broke your heart, I'm sure, that you had to go and buy that.
Well, no, at that time, I didn't like peated whiskey.
Well, I know, but just saying. Yeah, broke my heart.
Granted, I've gotten some good bottles from W.D. O'Connell as well. But I didn't like peated whiskey at the time. And actually, then I tried the Dark Silky, and somebody got him that bottle of Dark Silky, and I tried it. I'm like, oh crap, this is really good. Yeah,
it's not what you were thinking. Exactly.
I'm like, this is savory. It's like ham.
And like I said, we need to take Todd on a peated whiskey journey. I mean, he needs to come on the stream, and you know, we'll help him, especially with some of these just to get that hook set in his lip. He's had the wrong stuff, apparently.
Yeah. I haven't had 2/3 of the Irish you've gotten other than normal bottles around here. Sugar Kitty, I'll have to let you know where I get bottles from. Because, they will deliver to the U.S. living proof.
That's right. When that guy comes with that,
you know how you have to sign for like the alcohol that when they get sent in the mail. My UPS guy doesn't even ask me anymore. He's kind of just used to it now.
So Sugar Kitty, when that Ford Pinto rolls up and that hatch opens up, you get out there, you get what you need, and you get back in the house. They close the hatch, take off. No questions asked.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful nose in here.
And that, yeah.
Pete.
I did not. Actually, the dark silky is in Ohio, Mr. Jeggs. The midnight isn't, but the dark silky is. We do have that in Ohio, and that's only $42 in Ohio. The W. O'Connell, the regular bill fill, that's just like 47.5%. That one is in Illinois. Yeah, same here. I signed once, and that was the only time. It's the same UPS guy. He knows. He doesn't care.
You know, if
Doc
people weren't
O'Connell will be
watching,
very excited that you love his whiskey.
if people weren't watching, I would take my tongue and lick the inside of the glass on this sucker right now. But, you know, because the legs on this are still holding on to the side of the glass.
Yeah, it's very oily. It's so creamy.
Wow. I may be drinking this on the next stream I'm on.
Well,
I might as well. You know, I'm thinking about it.
Invest that. So
I might as well keep going and drinking this stuff.
So the next one.
Yes, the next one. Let's talk about
this.
That.
We're jumping up to 66% ABV. This one you cannot
sounds
get.
Terrible to me.
So this one was a whiskey club, an Irish whiskey club that I'm in. This was one of the releases. I actually got a ton of bottles of these. This is Short Cross. This is a peated single malt. So this is the first peated single malt released in Northern Ireland in 75 years. Or matured and distilled in Northern Ireland in 75 years. This one is like 6 years and I want to say like 7 or 11 months old. It's just shy of 7. This was fully matured. This is 100% peated malt with a phenol count of 55 ppm. This was double distilled. This was fully matured over 6 years in a European oak cask that had cognac and orange liqueur. Bottled at cask strength at 66% ABV, natural color, non-chill filtered. So you almost see like an orangey color on it.
So I opened that and just took a sniff, and I didn't do it to the other ones, and I don't know why I did it to that one. And I detected an orangey note, unusual, and I'm like, what the heck? And I'm thinking, well, maybe there's something on my hands. And now you just said about the orange liqueur. I mean, totally, I had no idea, but I just caught this small whiff, and it was like, what?
It's like orange zest.
And then honestly, I just thought, well, maybe it was the tape that was around the lids. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where my mind was going. I go, yeah.
This is, and I believe this is, if I'm remembering right, this is the first Irish whiskey that's ever been finished in an orange liqueur cask. So they took a cask that was seasoned with orange liqueur, filled it with cognac, seasoned it with cognac, and then filled it with this whiskey, and it matured in this cask for almost 7 years. And from the cask into the bottle into your glass. So I'm really excited to see.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hi, Cheryl.
This is orange.
Cheers, Cheryl. So Cheryl has, I believe, had this. This is what we're drinking, Cheryl. Though I know you recognize the bottle. This one is one. So if I add a couple drops of water to this, I get more of that orange coming out, and I get some other notes coming out as well that I don't typically get. Oh, Sugar Kitty gets a touch of orange zest with Port Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't get that at all on this. Absolutely orange zest.
Hey, cheers,
absolutely
Peter.
Bingo. Orange zest on this thing. No,
yeah, on the nose.
No doubt. Like I said, when I first nosed that, it was like, what the heck is this?
Totally different. I get a little mint on this too on the nose.
Like true mint Is in how do I say, like a peppermint or a spearmint?
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting like a peppermint.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, yeah, because if you tell me spearmint,
Not a
that's really gonna
spearmint.
throw
No,
me
not
because it's
spearmint.
more of a mint. And two things I'm not a fan of.
Like a peppermint candy.
Yeah, two things I'm not a fan of: orange and peppermint. And so when I got that first orange note, I'm like, what?
I'm real
Like I
curious
said,
to see what you're
that's
going to
why
think
I
of this one.
discounted it. That's why I discounted it. And
It
I'm like,
wasn't the
no, it
taste.
can't be. And
Yep.
what comes out of your mouth?
It can be, and it
It
is.
can. It
And
is.
I
That's the
did.
thing. But
So
you know
this
what?
one,
Let me say
before
this.
the whiskey club bought the cask, they presented this at the Irish Whiskey Awards, and this one won best single malt under 6 years or under 10 years, something like that.
Well, let me just say this. Even though they're two nosing notes I'm not particularly fond of, it doesn't turn me away like I have had on some other nosings. It's like, wow. Yeah, but this does not.
No, and
And I
just
pick up the peat. That's what
yeah.
I think, that's the more of the peculiar note with the peat, the orange, and the mint. I think that's
Yeah.
more what it is.
Well, and just for everybody in chat, this isn't like the Jameson orange where it's almost an
Oh,
artificial
please.
kind of
Yeah. Don't
like
give me.
an orange Tic Tac kind of chalky. This is like literal orange zest. It literally is like somebody just zested an orange right in front of you. It's
Let me just
very
say,
natural.
don't do that to Tic Tac. Tic Tacs are much better than Jameson.
Yes, Sugar Kitty. This is definitely more on the peppermint. This is more of a menthol.
Yes, thank you, Sugar Kitty. See, it's great to have him on here because he's got the
Orange mojito.
explanations.
Yes. Yes. That's perfect.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's it. Guide me, Sugar Kitty. Guide me down that road.
Not our last pour tonight, but our last whiskey. So it's launched to Anthony. Thank you again.
Okay. 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, that one's lovely. I liked it more than I thought I would.
And you would not have gotten me to guess 66 ABV. I'd have dropped that thing to right around 50.
Yep.
Honestly, maybe 52, 53, flip a coin, something like that. High as 55, but you would have been, that'd have been like pulling teeth out of a chicken to get me to do that, because it does not drink like 66 ABV. No, it does not drink like that. No way in heck.
No. It drinks dangerously lower than that. And I actually add a little bit of water to this one. And I think that brings out the orange more. I think the orange kind of comes forward a little more.
I'm telling you, this is amazing. Out of everything I've had here right now, that's number one. That hands down, boom, I am a proofy bitch. There's no doubt about it. But no way would I peg that at 66 ABV. No damn way. No way.
It's a nice one.
Even with the spice I'm getting right now, the Liberator was spicier.
Yeah, it was, I think, a little bit.
Oh yeah, it was definitely on the spicier side. But
yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah. And that's a lot of things. Sometimes people say the higher the ABV, oh, it's going to be a burner. Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
And I mean, I only added just a couple drops of water. So I didn't bring the ABV down that much, but that orange that just releases the oils in it.
Well, I have my special water here for such a thing. because I figured I might need it. And I went and got a particular device I use that is very scientific in measuring droplets. I think we talked about it. I
Yes,
don't know
I
if
need to get
anyone
one of
has
those
this.
because I've got my plastic pipette here.
It's one of these straws that have the little bendy thing on it, and you hold your finger on that sucker. It's very scientific because that's
I
how
get
much I
these,
use
like,
water in anything. But you just put that
I do
down in there.
whiskey tastings, and I get these like 200 for $5. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I've got this is very, very scientific here. And you
So
put
do
a
you
little
also notice
water
your
in there,
glass, how oily this thing is on the glass? It's
and then you
crazy how
just
much
take
oil
it
is in
and you
this.
just give it that drop. 2 drops, literally. See how that scientific that is? I mean, come on. You just can't get. I mean, I believe in science. I do. Ask Adriana.
So unfortunately, this one you're only going to find on occasion on the secondary market. Short Cross is a great new distillery in County Down. I've got a couple of their bottles. Really, really like all of their stuff so far. And like the other one that I have is a rye and malt, and that one is also 66% ABV. So they're releasing cask strength stuff. You can't get this in the US yet. You would have to join this Irish Whiskey Club to have access to any of these. There are still some left.
So, orange, mint, peat,
Yep.
deliciousness.
That one is, oh, I love that one with
And
one of those, those Andes chocolates, those mint chocolates.
yes, I used to
Yeah.
work for General Mills when I was in college in the late 80s, early 90s. And so I opened an Olive Garden. And so, of course, we had them all over the place. I ate them like they were going out of style. Now,
That
don't put
pairs
them in front of
perfect
me.
with this. An orange chocolate pairs perfect with this.
So
Hey, cheers, Roscoe. It's good to see you.
I just put just them 2 little drops in there, and I haven't tasted it yet. But you are correct. Just that little bit. And literally, when I say 2 drops, it
Tiny,
was
tiny
literally
bit.
2 drops. That orange did pop even more.
Mhm.
And I can only imagine if this was a good 1.5 ounce pour with a few good drops of water in there, and then give it a moment to do its thing and mix together, and then go after it. I can only imagine what it's going to be like.
James, the short cross cast strength bottles. The other one that I have, I think I paid $85, $90. Euro, like that. Cheryl is right. This specific one, the membership to the club is $20 a month, and this bottle was $99. I know I bought 8 of them. I did give some out as gifts. I have a couple stashed away because we're not going to see it again, but it's a very, very good bottle.
This
Dan,
is an
cheers to you.
absolutely delicious bottle. This is absolutely delicious.
Cheers, Jake.
The peat
Yeah, Jake.
I'm getting on this with the retrohale, the sweetness, and still getting some of that orange zest for sure. The spice.
But I think because of the cognac and the orange liqueur, I think
I
the
was just
peat
going to say
level
that
becomes more approachable. It does
that
not drink like at
sweetness.
55 ppm. It doesn't drink like at 66 ABV.
No, that sweetness of that cognac is so brown sugar, caramely, sweet, cream, just the way it kind of just washes through your palate. Really good.
And I think
really
that's
good.
where maybe I'm getting that chocolate. I get a little hint of a chocolate note on there, just a little, but I think it's more of that brown sugar. So I don't know if this will top the bottle of Short Cross as your favorite. However, we are going to top it as for ABV. So our next one, 67.5%.
And that's what I have on this bottle, 67.5.
67.5. So this is from Cologne Distillery. This is called the Balkan. This is Dead and Buried.
Excuse me?
This is called the Balkan Dead and Buried.
Okay, Dead and Buried.
Dead and
Okay.
Buried, and there's a reason for that.
Okay.
This is not an Irish whiskey. This is an Irish poaching, but I wanted to send it to you because this is a peated poaching. So this
I don't know what it is.
Ireland, one of Ireland's 3 native spirits. There's Irish cream, Irish whiskey, and Irish poaching. They all have their own technical file, and they all have their own specifications they have to meet. This is an Irish poaching. This was made up of 50% peated oats and 50% peated barley.
Oh my gosh, I was wondering why I'm smelling like a wet paper. You said oat.
This is all peated ingredients. This is older than whiskey, older than moonshine. Balkan was the ancient drop of choice at Irish funerals and wakes. So that is why this is called Dead and Buried.
It's extremely clear.
Well, that's because this has only been rested for 10 weeks in Pinot Noir casks. So Irish poaching cannot be in a cask any longer than 10 weeks. That is the maximum allowed.
But I'm just saying, look how clear this is. If I looked at this at first with this, it has a hint of color, but you would almost think it's White Dog. If you didn't look at it, because White Dog is clear as water. This has some sheen to it.
Well, poaching can be the same as new make. I mean, the recipe can be the same, but poaching allows things that whiskey doesn't. So that's how poaching honestly predates whiskey. So it has its own technical file. The color, that's why this has any color at all. I have several that are clear, that are crystal clear. I've got some that are finished in beer casks for a little bit. They can't put anything about aging. They could put anything about finishing on the label according to the Irish authorities. This one was actually done with Irish whiskey historian Finan O'Connor, who is known, he's a single pot still expert. He's known for his book, A Glass Apart. But this I thought you would like, because this is 100% peated ingredients. And this is just a kind of another category of Irish whiskey that you can get peated that is really, really good. This was a small batch. Yeah. This was a small batch done a few years ago. I was fortunate to get one. Hey, cheers, Mark. Hey, Northwest Bourbon. So this is my favorite distillery, Cologne. They actually just did a trial of poaching that I was lucky to be one of the 40 people involved in. And they did a high wheat mash bill poaching and then tested 3 different yeast strains on them. So I got 3 different bottles and they were completely different. It was crazy. So poaching can be made from potatoes. Poaching can be made from barley and oats. It can be made from beet, I think it's beet pulp, sugar beets. That's one thing, sugar beets. So this recipe is at least probably 300-400 years old. So it's really kind of cool. Yeah, no artificial color in this one. You could tell it was only in the cask for a short amount of time.
Wow. But it definitely has, I call it like a wet paper note with, I could get some brine out of it for sure. I know the ABV is up there because of the way it tickles the nose.
Oh yeah. This is one of the highest ABV things that I have.
Yeah, this is very different. Very different. Let me take another sip of water.
Completely different than whiskey, and has really evolved to become its own category in Ireland. There are bars that do cocktails just for poaching. I'm up to probably like 10 different bottles of poaching now from different distilleries everywhere. So it's really kind of cool to see how it's evolved and how it's kind of found its own niche in the Irish market. It's also, I get a different peat on this than I get on the other whiskeys that we had tonight. The other thing about this one is if I add a little water, boy, that peat blows up. big time. I don't really get it. For something that has 100% of the ingredients peated in the mash bill, I don't get the peat that much on this.
It's like candy.
Yeah.
And there's no way I would have put this thing anywhere near 46 ABV. It does not drink. This will floor you.
Yeah.
This will floor you.
Yeah.
There is no way. If you'd have told me 67.5 after I told you 46 would be pushing it, you would have had to show me the damn bottle. Because I would have said, you're a liar.
If you want to drink to forget at a funeral, this would be good stuff for that. Yeah. I can see where this is served.
I am telling you right now, this will floor you.
I get grape on this, and I think that's from the Pinot Noir. I get kind of like a fruity, like grape or cherry.
I got so lost in that first sip because I'm shocked. It is nowhere near this ABV. I mean, nowhere near. I might have been now in hindsight, just looking at it again. Like I said, 46 would have been high. I'd have come in at like an 80 proofer, 85 proofer, and that's no joke. That is no joke.
I don't go to this one very much simply because of that. It is so high proof. It's one I don't like to add water to because, like I said, when you add water, it's a very earthy peat. When you add water,
earthy on the nose.
Yeah, the peat really comes out. I mean, it almost overwhelms when you add water and try to proof it down. So I don't add any water to this one. So I drink this very sparingly because you're right. It will knock you right on your can.
I'm just telling you right now. You would have told me what this was. I'd have said, you have got to prove it because you have got to be crazy.
Have you had Irish Popping before?
No, I've never had any of this stuff that's here before and never heard of poaching until you just said it.
It goes back to the 16. Yeah, it goes back in the 1600s in Ireland.
I just never dived into the history of Irish whiskey. I do have some, but I never
some good ones.
I never just looked into it because it just wasn't on my radar.
This one is another one I got from Ireland. This is still available over there in some shops. The regular Culloden poaching actually is in the States and is available in a handful of U.S. states. But this one, I love the history behind this. I love that they involved an Irish whiskey historian in creating this, this historic mash bill. And it floored me because I thought 50% peated oats, 50% peated barley. This thing is going to be peated AF, and it's not. It's not as peat as you would think it's going to come across. But the one thing I really enjoy on poaching, such creaminess with the mouthfeel. I get so much, it's so creamy.
Now I'm getting some of the proof but on that first initial sip, no. It was not there. It was not there. But now I'm getting some of the spice on the tongue, but still.
Yeah.
I
get a creamy vanilla. I get like a cherry or what's a grape or cherry, but that's definitely from that Pinot Noir.
Well, on the retrohale, I'll give you the grape.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it was an unusual little thing. I go, huh.
But it's like candy. It's like Great Nerds candies.
Yeah.
It's like sweeter.
Yeah. But the creaminess of it, like a warm caramel drizzle, really thick. Yeah. It's just, you get preconceived notions when you see something that you can pretty much see through the bottle, and you say, "Oh, it's only 10 weeks old." And you go, "Oh
It's
God,
not going to taste like anything.
it's
Yeah.
gonna taste like crap."
Yep. Cologne does poaching very, very well. They're
Well,
yeah.
I said, never heard of poaching. Never, ever, never. This is amazing.
I tell you, the one thing I love, but I do enjoy about poaching as well, is that it because it's a little lighter kind of overall, it's a great drink for summer. I mean, they do make some that are lighter ABV, but I think it doesn't come across as heavy. So I tend to drink it quite a bit in the summer. Just neat outside in the yard.
This is definitely,
Oh yeah, candy I can.
yeah, this is definitely a sipper. No doubt about it. This is definitely something you're going to sip on. I mean, you only need a nice pour. When I say nice pour, 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, and just go put the bottle away and walk away from it, because it will call you. It will call you. It will ring your mobile phone and say, "Come back and get me. You're just about empty. Come back and get me."
Yeah, and it's proofy.
Oh, it's right up my alley. That's for damn sure. Wow.
Number 3 was Midnight Silky. Number 4 was
WD
O'Connell.
cast strength.
Bill Phil cast strength.
Yep.
Number 5, was Short Cross heated cask, finished in orange
Cognac.
liqueur and cognac.
Oh, the orange liqueur. Yeah. Wow.
And number 5 is Killowen Vulcan peated Irish poaching. The last one is not a whiskey. It's a different category, but it is peated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's peated. There is.
So I'm going to ask you a tough question. So I'm going to ask you to rank them.
Oh,
of the ones you
I
said.
can tell you right now. Number
I have
one,
a feeling I know.
number one is definitely going to be the poaching. The
Really, the poaching is your favorite.
yeah, but it was tough between the short cross.
The short cross. Oh,
The short cross was like, son of a gun.
Brendan Cardy is going to be so flippin' excited that you like his poaching the most.
Well, you let him know that.
Yeah, I will definitely let him know.
Yeah, you let him know. And but yeah, the poaching, the short cross, and then I'm gonna have to go to the midnight, then the O'Connell, the WD O'Connell, followed by Liberator, and then
the Talnua.
What is it called again?
Talnua.
Talnua, yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be, I'm sorry, last.
And it's kind of so lightly peated.
That's kind of a funky thing, just like for me and Frey Ranch's Standard. They have that home grain funk. It's not terrible, but I just find it a little off-putting. But when you get into their single barrel releases from Frey Ranch, coming in at 130 and north on the proof, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, wonderful. But
Cheers,
this poaching, right? Poaching. Wow.
It means little pot.
I don't care, little pot, big pot, whatever.
No.
Wow.
So Dandy Road, if you're looking for probably the easiest one to find in the US, we're drinking Midnight Silky, but Sleeve League also has one called the Dark Silky. The Dark Silky is available in a lot of US states. It's available out there quite a few US states, and it's like ranges like $40-$45. So it's a really good buy as well.
I just can't get over this. I'm going to make sure I'm saying right. Poaching. Okay. Because when you look at it, that's not how it's.
Yeah. Gaelic, I swear they all just got together and like, okay, how do you think things should be
Well,
spelled?
they probably had too much of this when they decided the
Yeah.
spelling. That's probably what it was.
Donald, I have that in my cart actually. I've got a cart saved for James Fox. So my next order, that's going to be coming my way. Because you've been telling me about it and they were out of stock and they got restocked.
Donald, how come you never told me about this liquid gold? I've never heard of it nor had it ever until right now.
Anthony is drinking the Cullowen Bulkin Irish Pochine. This is the Dead and Buried. The Pinot Noir rested. They actually
I just love the name
rested
Dead and Buried, because that's what will happen to you.
Even got a little
if you're not careful.
Even got a little coffin.
I know, but that's what will happen to you if you're not careful with this shit. You will be dead and buried. I'm still nosing this a little bit in here, but I mean, the peat, and I don't know why, but I'm getting brine. I'm just telling you, I'm getting brine on that.
I don't get any brine on this one. I get more earthy on this one.
Well, okay, maybe it's the earthy, but to me, it comes off that very clean, peaty smell of the Kilchoman.
The Pochine, I get kind of like as well, and especially when I add a couple drops of water, I get like, the potting soil, garden soil when you're.
You know what? There's not much in here, and I'm going to put just literally, when I say a drop of water in there, I'm going to get my scientific measuring device here, and I've got to try it now because I'm curious. I am as curious as can be. I've got the water. There we go. We got the drop in there. Holy smokes. You could see it reacting.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I put the drop of water in there. I'm almost out, by the way. Anyway.
Mine twice.
Well, remember, I've got this tub.
Oh, yeah. I just have my water bottle. Yeah. Pochine, you ain't lying, Donald. It'll sneak up on you.
Oh, Donald, I'm telling you right now, I've got to do the stream for Livewire next, and I might as well just stay on this sucker. This is good. I told them already I'm not responsible for what happens.
You would have loved the samples I got with that Pochine trial, because every one of them was 60%. And I went through a couple times to make sure that
you tell them if they need more people to try it, I'm a guinea pig.
I'll definitely let Brenda know. Yeah. Yeah, they were all different. And I wanted to make sure I had my notes right. So I did it like 3 times. And like, holy crap, I got to go get something to eat.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Bourbon Baller Lee. Cheers to you.
This is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Donald, you would definitely not know, and I know you know what I'm talking about. You would not know that this is 67 ABV. I'm sorry. I mean, I am a proofy bitch. There's no doubt about it. I've got the T-shirt to prove it from Cheech, and I would have failed miserably at this.
What did you pick this one? You said 80. You would have picked it at 84.
I'd have picked it 85 proof, ABV. 85 proof. In the 40 ABV area, or excuse me, 85 proof. Mm-hmm. Give or take, maybe a little north. I mean, honestly, maybe a little north, to be honest. But if you'd have told me what this was, I said it before. I'm saying I'd have called you a liar and said you got to show me the bottle. Oh my gosh! So you know what this reminds me of is when I was in college, mm-hmm. We would make jungle juice out of Everclear and whatever else anyone had in their refrigerator. That stuff would sneak up on you like a freight train and run you down. And I used to tell people, you only need, this was your mug and you're coming to fill it up. You only need that. That's all you need. And they would say, well, don't tell me how to drink. I know what I'm doing. Okay, you asshole. And I would pour it in there. Yeah. Next thing you know, they're on the other side of the wall.
They're puking purple on the other side.
And it was purple.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
They always puke whatever color the Kool-Aid was you put in it.
Exactly. Well, we used the dailies fruit punch. But we get the purple. Sometimes we would get the fruit punch, literally.
Yes.
We would get that. Remember those gallon jugs?
We did the Kool-Aid fruit punch, like the tropical punch.
But you know what I'm talking about, the dailies. You remember that. Yeah. But I used to have to leave Ohio and go to Pennsylvania.
We went to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, my Pennsylvania driver's license, when I'd go to the state store, I could get the Everclear. So it's funny.
Mhm.
I was buying it for a party we were having at the fraternity house, and I went over and I said, "Hey, do you have any Everclear?" We went over to like Sharon, Pennsylvania, or something like that, because I went to Youngstown State, so we just shoot over.
Did you really?
And
No way.
yeah, I told you that.
Oh, it's
before.
Akron. Yeah, I forgot about that.
You know, they told me I had a good time when I was up there. I went to Kent State to visit. They
Everybody
said
has, yeah.
they
Everybody
said
has
I had a
good time at Kent State.
great time up there. So went over there to get, and he said, "Oh yeah, we got it. We got, pints, we got fifths and blah blah blah." I said, "What about gallons?" "Oh yeah, we got it right here." And he pulled it out, and I said, "Oh okay." I says, "I'll take one." He says, "Okay," and he puts up. I said, "Well, one. I better make it 2 cases." And he looked at me. "What? Yeah, can I get 2 cases?" He goes, "Yeah." So he brings them up there and, "Let me see your ID." And he just looks at my ID and okay, hands it back. And I go out with 2 cases and some, I'm being funny when I say Boone's Farm, but a couple cases of cheap wine, and I can't
Mad
remember
Dog.
what else. But then when we got there, you might say, "Hey, I've got some Count Choctaw vodka. I got this and that." And then somebody would bring a block of dry ice, and we'd have a garbage can that was food grade.
Mhm.
We dump all that in there with some water, cut up some fruit, mix it all up,
Yeah.
drop the dry ice in there, and hold on.
We always soaked the fruit in the Everclear also for a couple days in the fridge before we dumped it in there.
And I would eat the fruit
So you get
all the
messed
time.
up. Yeah, you
And
get
people
messed
would
up.
look at me like, "Why are you eating the fruit?" And I would chuckle. And I'd go, "If you only knew." But we would leave it in a punch.
Yeah.
So it would get all of that. And them pineapples and stuff were just amazing. Sorry.
This stuff,
It was
this
so
stuff
good.
makes it. I see what this makes an excellent base for cocktails.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, this is,
So they make so
wow.
everybody's heard of Irish coffee. Well,
Oh, yeah.
there's Belfast coffee, and Belfast coffee is cold brew, but instead of using Irish whiskey, you use poaching.
No cold coffee.
But they make all kinds of cocktails with poaching. They come up with all kinds of recipes for it.
You know what? I don't think it was Strawberry Hero, but it could have been Mad Dog 2022, Sugar Kitty. But it was the cheapest stuff we could find because it didn't make a difference. You never tasted it anyway.
No.
It was just part of the recipe. And somewhere, I still have that handwritten recipe because it's passed down from the graduating brother to the next group of people. And so it was only a select few that had it. And I had the original. And somewhere I still
wrote it down. It was just whoever was making
this was a
whatever
set. This was a set thing, tried and true. So it was passed down. And when I got tapped
You guys
to
were
be
like
the carrier of
professionals
it,
on it.
yeah. Oof. And we would make small batches of it for our own little parties at the house because I lived in what they called the penthouse. It was the biggest room there. And so we would make our own smaller batches out of it, just a gallon of Everclear and a few other things. And oh my gosh. Whew. I've got a shirt that says I survived, and it's from 1980 something, or maybe it's like 1990, somewhere in there. But
I'm going to create a shirt for my store now that says I survived Irish poaching.
Oh, hey, I'll wear it. Make you and I one, and I'll buy that one for sure.
I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Caesar with smoked salmon, another bad after a few of them.
Oh, Clamato.
This would be good in a Caesar. I could see Irish poaching in a Caesar. I totally could. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it, especially since you are going to be on Livewire tonight.
Oh,
so
yeah.
For anybody in chat who doesn't know, Anthony is going to be hosting Livewire Whiskey tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, on my channel, not theirs, because
on your channel.
If we get booted, it'll be me, not them. But I'm not responsible, especially now after Pachi. Because I'm going to have a little more of this here because, wow, this is really good. Really good.
So Kilco is live right now. If you guys want to jump over,
yes,
catch him out, check him out. think Whiskey Row is going live at 8, and then you're going live at 9 o'clock. So make sure that you guys, if somebody wants to drop the link in one more time, make sure that you guys check out Bourbon Neophyte tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. your time?
6 p.m. Pacific,
6 p.m. your
in
time.
about an hour.
6 p.m. your time.
Mm-hmm.
Please like and subscribe to all these great channels. Thank you so much, Anthony, for coming on here. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you
Daisy,
liked
this was
everything.
truly amazing. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And especially, I learned something about punching.
Yeah.
This is great. Honestly, it is. I love it when I can learn something. And this was an actually terrific experience. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you very much. There's the stream. So you guys make sure you click that notify button in the stream so that you'll all be able to watch.
Yep.
Thank you again for joining me.
Cheers, I appreciate it. And I am so glad we did this. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Sláinte everyone.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.